I guess Barclay. It's Barclay, right?
Yes, it is.
As a kid, I think stupidly, the only thing, again, like I compare weird things in my head when I was a kid, probably still do, but I think I was like Charles Barkley growing up.
That was a popular one. I got teased about a lot. Oh my God.
But it's Boyd now?
Yeah. I got married while I was in the Army, so still technically married, working on getting divorced, but yeah, it's Boyd.
But formerly Neal.
Yes.
So when did you come into Wissahickon?
Oh God, I was in the Wissahickon School District the entire time.
Started in kindergarten?
Yeah, I went to Stony Creek Elementary.
Ah, okay. Where did you, what area did that put you in as far as living then?
Bluebell.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So then Stony Creek the whole time till fifth grade. What was that like for you? Did you have friends? What were you?
Not really. I was very much bullied in elementary school. Made fun of a lot. Kind of found solace in band, oddly enough, and chorus.
Who's do you remember the chorus? Like I always remember like chorus, and I went to Madison, so do you remember?
The chorus director was Mrs. Papadopoulos. I don't remember the band director.
Oh, because Mrs. Papadopoulos came to middle school eventually.
Yes.
Oh, okay. And so you said you were bullied. Is that like girl bully, or is that like everyone's like guys and girls, just verbal?
Pretty much almost everyone. I didn't have really any friends in elementary school. I didn't really have friends until middle school, in fact.
What did you do then? I guess was band like a outside of like school hours type of activity, or was it like, did you have any other activities just growing up as a kid?
It was kind of both, but I would read a lot when I was home. Since I didn't really have friends, I didn't really go out much. I have two younger sisters, but I was very much a tomboy, so they didn't want to do the stuff I wanted to do usually.
What kind of tomboy stuff were you into?
G.I. Joe, Hot Wheels cars, stuff like that. Playing in the creek that ran back in the side of the house I grew up in.
G.I. Joe had like the best action figures because they were the most bendable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My sisters liked Barbies. Me, I was just like, no. No.
When you got to middle school, what changed for you, do you think? Just exposure to more kids, or do you think I
think both. And then like my best friend, she's still my best friend to this day, in like one day out of the blue in 6th grade, she sat down across from me, and then just we've been friends ever since. So
who's that?
Emily Arnold.
Yeah.
If you remember her.
Yeah. I knew Emily from like Madison Avenue.
Yeah.
Down
in front, like across from me, her and Ross, out of the blue, just sat down across from me, and just like ever since then.
Did you guys were you guys in the same pod?
I don't think so. No, actually, because I wasn't special ed at all, ever. So we usually got placed in different pods, but I think my parents were just happy that I found friends and would let me go hang out with them, at least on the weekends.
So what would you do on the weekends?
Oh God, just hang out in Emily's house, watch like stupid horror movies. I'm not great for horror though, but it was just like stupid horror movies and stuff like that.
Did the bullying, now that you found friends, did like school life get different? I don't want to say easier because there's always like challenges regardless, but did the bullying stop or did it?
For the most part, it still would happen occasionally, and it sucked, but I guess I just was okay with the fact that it was a lot less, so I just kind of rolled with it. It still hurt. It still hurt. But kids will be kids. If I held a grudge for any of that, that would just be stupid.
I think back.
Like you never, like I remember pretty well that you didn't ever do anything like that. So I had no beef with you in high school period or middle school. So you were like actually one of the people that just kind of left me alone, let me do my own goddamn thing, you know? So there's that.
I can't relate to like everyone's experience, but you know I've had moments where I don't want to say held on to stuff, but like I just would think back on different events and I would wonder, I guess I would wonder about them. And I'd wonder if it was normal, if it's just like a normal thing that happened as far as like getting picked on or getting confrontations, getting fights, because everyone has it to different degrees. And I think I had like I don't know. I think I have a hard time sometimes letting go of like the past. Do you ever struggle with like, do you feel like when you were bullied, do you feel like it was worse or do you feel like it was not, I don't know. I know everyone doesn't get bullied and everyone doesn't get picked on, but a lot of people do, right? And I was on both sides of that coin, right? I picked on people and I got picked on by people. Do you ever, I don't know, when you think about it or when you get upset about it, do you ever think about if you're holding on to it, or do you think about whether, or do you think you had it bad, or you know what I mean?
I try not to hold on to it, but there's been some other stuff that happened way after high school that has made stuff like that harder to let go, because but for the most part, I hold no ill will. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Take your time. You're good.
No, I don't hold any ill will, period. It would be stupid. It's like, I was like that nerdy, like, outsider, strange kid that had some strange interests and was very much a tomboy. I get that. And that's not going to lend well in herd mentality, because there's in-group and out-group bias, and if I wasn't part of the cool kid group, there's going to be in-group bias against me. I get it. Yay, psychology degree. So to to hold on to that is stupid. There's no point for me to. That being said, compared to some of the other crap I've been through, it's pretty tame.
You want to talk about fun stuff?
Yes, please.
So I feel like my biggest memory of you during middle school was the musicals. And didn't you work like backstage?
Yes.
Doing like, you were like the assistant stagehand for, I can't remember.
I was just the light person. That's all I did. I was just the light person.
Was it just lighting?
Yeah, that's all I did was the lighting.
I just remember you like backstage during, I guess Dreamgirls was the main one.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I remember that. I was like, I was really good at doing the lights, so it just became the thing for me to do.
How did you get into that?
I don't know. It was just, I have pretty friggin' bad stage fright, believe it or not. So stuff like a musical where it's easy to see me on stage, I have problems with, and it's too much. So doing the lights or doing like the backstage stuff is a lot easier because it's like I don't get exposed.
It's funny you say that. Was being like in band, because there's so many other band members, like an ensemble, was that a similar, like, was that?
It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. Especially since I was low brash, so it's like I'm in the back, typically.
So what did you play?
Oh God, I started in
was it multiple?
Yeah, I started in elementary school playing trombone. Middle school played trombone. High school I taught myself tuba.
How do you teach yourself?
Books.
I was gonna say, was it YouTube?
Books. Well, YouTube really wasn't a thing back then.
No, not at all.
No, and I never mind reading, so it's like the library and the band room were like my two favorite places to hang out. Period.
What were you into reading?
Usually science fiction and fantasy novels. I have like two, those tall IKEA Billy bookshelves, the double ones? I have two of those. And they're full. So I read.
I never I could never get too into fiction. I had like a little spell where I was into like really cheesy, like 5th grade reading level, like high school drama books, right? Jerry Spinelli style.
Oh God, I think we all had that phase.
Yeah. But then after that, like the closest I really came out, for fiction was, Michael Crichton stuff. So when you said science fiction, that's where my head instantly went with like Jurassic Park and.
Yeah, he's kind of science fiction-y, but he's more horror and thriller usually, though.
Okay. What would be like science fiction?
Oh God. Probably like H.G. Wells, Isaac Asimov. I have not really expanded on my science fiction collection yet. But yeah, like Time Machine, Isaac Asimov with the Foundation trilogy. Larry Niven wrote some science fiction type stuff. Greg Bear, he's a good science fiction author. And then there's a few others. I just can't think of them off the top of my head.
So when you say you would hang out with Amanda and Emily on like weekends, especially during the week, would band be like your main social thing?
Yeah. I was actually I was in band, chorus, select chorus, orchestra, jazz band, marched it for a couple of years, and then
Wow.
Some stuff happened, and I got pulled out of that by my parents. Great Books Club, oddly enough. I love that one.
That was in high school?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that in
Yes.
the yearbook, Great Books Club. What is that?
It was just basically going through like old school literature, like Ray Bradbury and stuff like that, and just analyzing like short stories and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Let me ask you then, for you, like socially, like what would you do like in the summer, like just in when you talk about having Amanda and Emily as friends, like and so on weekends, and then like during the school year, pretty much like you're pretty busy with activities as you're
Well,
growing up.
even like 8th grade on, my parents pushed me to start working. So my summers would actually be pretty busy as well because I'd be working.
Where'd you work?
Well, I worked as a junior counselor for a summer camp one year. And then I started working at a coffee shop. I think you remember Bucks County Coffee. I'm not sure if you do.
Where was that? Was that?
It was a local area chain.
What was like? Where was the actual building?
Oh God, the location I worked at was in the center square, the Clemens.
Oh, okay. See,
Yeah,
I lived in Ambler, so I would have
yeah,
Springhouse Clemens. But I do remember that Clemens. That was an awesome Clemens, because they had arcades in there.
yeah,
Great Clemens.
yeah. But no, that's the like my mom actually worked as a florist in that Clemens for the longest time too.
Ah, okay. So then in high school, did you start to develop any, I don't know, new interest, or did you I don't know, with maturity and some more freedom?
Not really, oddly. I like anxiety has always been a part of my life, so it's hard to branch out, especially around people. And then in high school, I had major depressive disorder start pretty early. So, like when I was 16, 17, that's when the depression hit pretty bad. And my grades slipped as a result. And then I hit a couple blows with Emily and Amanda getting moved to a different school because they needed a better environment to learn in. My parents pulling me out of my activities because my grades were slipping, so I didn't have that outlet to express myself anymore. My mom found my poetry and took all my music away because my poetry was pretty freaking dark. So I hit almost rock bottom probably about sophomore year.
When was there like a trigger? Was Amanda and Emily leaving the trigger for that, or was that just was that just all during the same time?
It was around the same time. Actually, no, it wasn't sophomore year. It was fucking junior year because I didn't do marching band freshman year. Because freshman year I was still trying to navigate high school, but junior year I got like probably a month into marching band season I got pulled out. Junior year, and then not proud of it, but I almost killed myself. But yeah, depression probably started sophomore year though, because it just like my grades just started slowly dipping sophomore year into like the beginning of sophomore year into junior year. It just the whole time. So if I look back, it probably started back then. And then I got put on an SSRI, which my parents didn't monitor me when I was on that. So that led to a second suicide attempt. And then they pulled me off the medication. So, and then they started letting me back in my activities because maybe they realized maybe the activities were helping. So,
what's your like? So during this time, are you? And I'm always kind of curious about, depression and mental health, because I think so many people are open to talking about it now. Mm-hmm. And the public is becoming so much more knowledgeable about it. But I feel like
there's still that stigma.
There is. It's getting better.
I've been fired from jobs because I have mental health issues. So that stigma is still there. It is. I'm in a better place now than I was. I think my lowest point happened early 2018. I joined the Army right out of high school, right?
I feel like we were previously Facebook friends, and I had seen that you were in the Army, I think.
Yeah, that's where I met the ex.
Okay.
That's a whole nother story. But I joined in 01 and 02. Well, back in 01, I was in 01, 02. I trusted the wrong guy. And that was the time when they were sweeping a lot of those sexual assaults, attempted rapes, and rapes under the rug. So that led to PTSD. So I don't want to go completely into detail. It wasn't a full-on rape. It was an attempted rape, but it's still something I hid from. So that's why I say anything I went through in school was tame compared to what I went through later.
Understood. When you're going through your depression in school, are you still going to school every day, or are you?
Yep. And it was just basically put on a brave face and hide it the whole time.
Was there any support from the school itself?
Nope.
Wow. That's where I wonder if that's changed at all today with schools.
I don't know. I sincerely hope so, because it's very lonely.
Was music an outlet for you in that regard then, once you're able to start doing your activities again?
Yes. It was something I was very passionate about. I wasn't the best at it. I would forget to practice a lot because ADHD, that's a fun thing. But it was something I cared a lot about.
a lot of people, well, we've had JP and Mike Clyburn both on, who have both talked about
Yeah.
Mr. Hood.
Yeah, he was fucking fantastic.
I was right next to I was right next to with Mr. Conahan, but I mentioned, I think with JP, that I wish I had, we got Mr. Conahan at the end of our high school run. I wish we kind of had him the whole time, because he was so invested the way Mr. Hood was.
Yeah. I agree. Mr. Hood was definitely is an asset to the man program for Wissahickon, period. He's part of the reason, not the entire reason. My paternal grandfather was in the military as well, but Mr. Hood was part of the reason I joined the Army.
How so?
Because he's a vet.
Wow. So knowing his story, so you really looked up to Mr. Hood?
He was like a second father to me.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And here I was going to brag about how he's one of the only teachers that signed my yearbook.
He signed mine too.
I'll bet. As you're going through, I guess the reason why I was asking, or originally when I asked, were you getting any hobbies or new hobbies? I'm always curious, I didn't know anything about careers or jobs or, how to plan for the future. And you were obviously going through a lot of emotions. Was going into the military always going to be your plan at any
No.
point? Did you have, so at any point, did you have something that you were saying, that you said either
oh God,
I'm okay with, I know you said your grades were going down, but was there anything you said I'm okay at this in school, that maybe I could do this, or I I still like G.I. Joe, so maybe I can write comics, or do something for the cartoons, or design action, I don't know.
Music was a thought for a while, but I wasn't as good at it as JP and Mike were, so not really. The Army was going to be the place where I've figured shit out. Obviously that did not come to pass. Okay, Sarah. I
know you mentioned anxiety, and when I talk about it, it's definitely not clinical. It's just a word I'm using.
No, it's diagnosed.
Right, that's what I mean. For me, when I'm saying I have anxiety about issues, it's just me saying it because I just allow my emotions to eat me up. But was that at all a concern? Was the future a concern for you? Some people don't think.
It always is. It always is. Even now at 38, it still is. Especially with the whole COVID thing, being a single parent and all that, it's always a concern.
You mentioned horror movies with.
I am not good at those. No.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Do you have any movies that you were actually a fan of in high school?
Not really. More TV shows. I am a big Doctor Who fan. I love The Expanse. Star Trek was a big one growing up.
Which Star Trek?
All of them.
Oh, okay. Well, there's always different. There are always new ones coming out, right?
Oh, I know, but all of them are good.
Voyager, Deep Space,
in their own way. All of them are good. I grew up on Next Generation thanks to my dad.
Okay.
My dad got me exposed to Doctor Who. Granted, it was PBS, old school reruns, and then Star Trek Next Generation. So I developed that love for sci-fi early. And then fantasy, he had Lord of the Rings, which I read The Hobbit at didn't completely understand it. I will be honest. I did not completely understand it at 5th grade, but I read it.
Oh, wow.
And that started.
So you were reading Lord of the Rings back before it was ever.
Yeah.
Well, The Hobbit, right? Was The Hobbit already a film prior?
No. Well.
Was there like
there was a crappy version.
Yeah.
There was a crappy version that was out.
But no. But no blockbuster release of.
No.
Yeah.
It was the shitty version that was out. I also read Watership Down when I was in 5th grade. Didn't understand it then either, but I understand it now.
What's that?
Oh God.
Can you give me
rabbits? It's about rabbits. I don't know how to explain it. It's basically rabbits that get chased out of their original home by people being people, and go on this long ass adventure to find a new home. It's a really good read though. I'm dumbing it down a lot, but it is a very good read. It's by Richard Adams.
I need the dumbing down, Barclay.
You're not.
I've been saying recently I need to start reading period more. I've gotten so into the phone reading of news, and that's been my main source, and I've gotten so out of actually reading that I feel like it's ruining my brain. I need to slow my brain down and teach it to settle with reading and working itself rather than having things shown to me to stimulate.
Why do you think I have bookshelves full of books?
It's a muscle. It's a muscle.
I also still have all my college books because I did eventually go to college.
Like your textbooks?
Yes.
I kept all those books for so long. Just everywhere I moved to, I brought them with me.
I didn't go to college until 2015. I got my degree I went to University of Colorado. That's why I was in Colorado.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Well, don't jump there just yet.
Okay. But yeah, but no, it's Watership Down's a good book. You should read it. Richard Adams. Another good author, Brandon Sanderson. He writes the Stormlight Archive. That is a great read. The books are massive, but they're great reads. Those are fantasy novels, though.
Going with the nerd stereotype, you read.
Yes.
What a loser. You play music. So lame. I know now I know you're into video games, and we were talking yesterday about Discord. Were you into technology as it was we were kind of growing up in the boom of the internet and technology? Were you into that at all then?
I tried. My dad, I love him. It took until freshman year of high school for him to finally get a PC.
It wasn't easy.
I kid you not.
It wasn't easy.
He doesn't text. He still uses a flip phone and still types by the hunt and peck method. I love my dad, though. I love him, but so technically I was kind of stifled and didn't get the chance. I was basically one-woman tech support, though, when we got the PC.
You had two sisters younger?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so you were the most equipped at that point.
Barely. Mostly it was me sitting on hours on the phone with tech support trying to do the things they were telling me to do. So I have a basic tech troubleshooting background now thanks to that. So if my computer locks up, I know how to fix it most of the time.
Okay. Did you stay working at Bucks County for the remainder of high school, or did you switch any jobs?
Towards the end of senior year, again, because brain was no worky. I got fired from that because I was dumb. I have learned from my mistakes. And then I started working at Kohl's for like the last bit. So it was probably about 2-3 months away from graduation. I was working there. I think I worked during prom because I didn't want to go to prom. But I was working there because I was working overnights during the weekends, and then working as a cashier during the week.
Wow, you were working overnights at Kohl's in high school?
Yeah, during the weekends.
Wow. So I worked at Wawa, and my store closed at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock? No, midnight. 11? No, I think they closed at 11 o'clock. We closed early. We closed earlier than like normal stores. And so we didn't have an overnight shift, and I never got to work like overnights until I was in college. But I couldn't imagine, where it was always a little bit of a rush, but I've always been told that it's, overnights are very tough. So I can't imagine being, 17, 18 working overnights.
It's a lot easier when you have that teenage gumption, though, because you're stubborn and you can stay awake on little sleep and lots of caffeine. Not so much nowadays.
That's true. That's true. I was staying awake anyway, and just not making any money for it. How did you like retail in general? Talked a lot about it, and JP's character building, right?
For someone with anxiety, it's not character building. It's more like anxiety inducing, and like you're constantly questioning if you're fucking up. I do better in like security work or in a lab setting, honestly, like with like just by myself, allowed to do my own goddamn thing away from people is where I'm best at.
What about music? Did you were you into popular music? What were you listening to?
Oh God, hard rock, metal, punk, ska, jazz, classical. Pretty much the only things I don't really listen to are rap, hip hop, and country. I'll listen to pretty much anything else, though.
I'm all three of those.
I'm sorry.
But one of the first, maybe the second concert I was ever at was a hip hop ska combo. It was the Roots and the Mighty Mighty Bosstones.
Actually, the only concert I've ever been to was Dave Matthews Band.
No. I joke with Kelly Brook about she loves Dave Matthews, and I say I always used to hear about these Dave Matthews Band concerts in high school that everyone would go to, and I just had such an image of like the cool kids all partying and getting drunk, and everyone would talk about it the next day or on Monday would talk about
No, I'd go for the music.
Yeah.
That's basically straight up. I'd go for the music, not for the partying.
But to this day, like I've never given them a fair chance. But you went to one. You've been to one concert, and that's the one.
Mm-hmm. Well, the funny thing is, I'm a contralto. So female singers are.
You know that.
Yeah, well, I'm a very low alto. So like vocally, I have like with a lot of the music genres I listen to, I have to sing along with male singers.
Oh.
And Dave Matthews is about my perfect range. There's some notes that he hits are a little too low for me, but for the most part, he's perfect range for me.
That's pretty cool. So you like him because you can sing along with him.
Uh-huh.
Where was that show? Was it at the Tweeter Center?
No, it was at Veterans Stadium.
Oh, whoa, that's pretty cool. What year was that? Like during high school or after?
During high school. I think it was summer of 2000, I think. Yeah, it was summer of 2000.
I didn't know there were concerts at stadiums. See, I didn't go to concerts growing up. In fact, my one concert that I'd been to prior to that Mighty Mighty Boston's Roots show was it was New Edition and 112 at the Del West.
Oh, damn.
Del East? Del East. I think it is. I can't remember. It might be Del West. But the opposite of whatever the Mann Music Center became, there was a counterpart building, amphitheater. And that was like 96, 97. So I never went to like any concerts again until like 2002.
Yeah, nope. I've only ever been to the one.
But hard rock.
Mm-hmm. Oh, fuck. You should see my Spotify playlist. It is like, it's a joke between my friends now how much music I have jam-packed on my Spotify playlist now. But I think I have I think about 5,600 hard rock songs for the most part. Well, no, there's some electronic mixed in there too, because it's good raid music.
I mean, listen, I'm the same way with like hip hop. So, I've got way more than 12,000. You know, I've got many days worth of hip hop songs. So it's, you know, is an audiophile? Is that the word? I don't know if I'm using that word right, but
no, it's like I have a Spotify playlist that is literally just jam packed full of music.
Will you share it? Can we share it?
Yeah, I can. Do you want the long one?
It's up to you. Do you have? Would you be able to make like your favorite 20, or like?
Oh God,
or
no.
Like, or just like, I know if someone asked me to make 20 hip hop songs.
20 songs? Jesus.
Of just that you like right now.
Oh God, I think my boyfriend would laugh because I think he knows I would not be able to come up with that.
All right, make as many as you want.
You have no idea what you're asking.
I do know. This is what I do. I make playlists all the time. All the time. I love that.
You have no idea.
I'd be curious to hear
It literally is about 5,600 songs on my main playlist.
I'm not gonna listen to 5,000. I'll listen to a couple hours worth.
Okay. Well, it's organized by band. I have it sorted by band. So there's that.
Do you have like the Spotify, like this exclusive Spotify or the premium Spotify account?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't have that. So for me, everything I play, it's just like on shuffle if I play a playlist. Oh, no.
I may be on a very tight budget, but I do.
That's one of your expenses.
Yeah, that's one of my guilty pleasures.
I've been looking into something now because, like I said, I've got tons of of songs, but I have like MP3s, and I'm trying to look into some sort of service to get my music into like a cloud-based or something so I can stream through my phone online because I don't have an iPhone. So I'm looking into some different options, but
I still have a cheap S7, so I feel you.
Yeah, so music is like one of those things that's I'm willing to make an expense in my life.
Mm-hmm. Fuck, I still have CDs.
I've been looking on. I never do this except for when I'm completely stumped with like music stuff or just I keep so many things. So I've got CDs and VHS tapes, and I'm trying to figure out how to repurpose them and like how to do something with them because I've got so many old CDs and I don't want to just throw them away. So I've been looking like, can I make them into like, I don't know, shelves or something? I can't play them. I don't have a CD player. Do you?
I have an Xbox 360 that I can play with CDs on.
Do you do it? Do you actually use them?
Yep.
Wow.
Some of them not when my kid's awake because he's 7 and he does not need to hear certain things.
What was your first CD? Do you remember?
Oh, fuck. Probably a Slipknot CD.
Those guys with the masks?
Yes.
So, as high school, at what point did you realize that you were going to go? Was it was the Army, right?
Mm-hmm.
At what point did you realize? Was it senior year?
Yep.
Um,
Recruiters called the house, and I was like, sure. And then took the ASVAB, did really well on it.
did you sign up prior to? Did you like sign up with them? So like in high school, they always tell you like there's going to be guys that go around and they say,
Oh, the delayed entry? Yes, I did do the delayed entry program.
and what's that like?
It's just basically making sure like everything's taken care of before you go. So when you go to MEPS, you could just breeze through and go to your duty assignment.
What's MEPS?
So it's basically the processing, like the beginning processing before you go to basic. I took care of all my medical stuff, all my testing, my job stuff, everything before I graduated from high school, and then I had a set date to go to basic.
Once you've signed up and you're starting to learn, I imagine they're telling you about all the possibilities. Are you thinking about where maybe you would want to take this? Are you, with any job, so to speak, I imagine like when you start something new.
I was supposed to be like MI, like just basically, well, not pure MI, more the fixing crypto devices MI end. Then because of my mental health history, I had to change MOSs during basic, so I ended up going communications, so signal corps. I was basically a glorified telephone operator.
What is so is that like connecting people like on a switchboard?
Yeah, but I would also have to like repair the equipment and everything too if it went down, like basic troubleshooting and stuff.
What's your graduation from high school? What's that whole final year like for you?
It was me coasting and trying to get through high school. I found out I am not good at physics, so I had to switch out science class for that last science bit that I needed to graduate. But I think I ended up graduating with like a 3.0.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, even with like some questionable grades due to the depression issues. So,
did you feel proud or accomplished, going with what you had gone through? And it sounds like not really.
I was just glad it was over.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was just glad it was over. I was hoping like I could leave all that behind. All the awkward teenage shit behind and move on.
Did you, I don't know, I ask a lot of people this, but I felt, I talk about it with like the partying and, with sex. I felt like I wanted to be a part of like that world in high school, but I willingly admit I wasn't mature enough, I don't think, to even if I did have friends that put me in those situations, I wasn't mature enough.
I didn't really go to parties.
Well, you say really, but did you at all go to parties?
I think I maybe went to a couple band parties and that was it.
You went to more than I did. Tell me about the band parties. Let me in on the world of band parties now.
I don't think there was much drinking. It was just us hanging out as friends and I don't know, just doing like kid stuff, listening to music, stuff like that. I don't think there was any drinking. I don't know. I probably wasn't paying attention. I was more like ball of anxious energy, just trying to hide from too much interaction. Hence why I only went to a couple.
Were you aware of I mean, like you say, like you were kind of like, trying to handle your own shit, but were you, I was very aware of stereotypes and placements. Were you aware of those things? Were you looking at cool kids? Were you looking at, you said you knew you were kind of like, you were the tomboy, but you knew you were kind of like the nerd. You were aware of those things. And did you want to engage, or did you want to be a part, or did you look from afar and say, oh, the cool kids, I wish I could be in that group, or I wish my anxiety didn't prevent me from one, you know what I mean? Like,
I thought I did at the time, but in hindsight, I think I just didn't want to be alone.
That makes sense.
Because sophomore and senior year were very lonely for me. Even surrounded by people in band and stuff, I was alone.
You had, how much younger were your sisters?
My middle sister's about 2 years younger than me, and then the youngest is about 5.
Five's a pretty good jump, but did your sisters have a relationship, like a friendly relationship? I know that's not always the case with siblings. Sometimes it's just
they were pretty popular.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That feels awkward.
A little bit. It was a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. But you're not even, I guess you have one sister that's actually in school with us. And then the other one is a whole nother school behind. At least.
Yeah.
So what's your destination once you're supposed to leave high school? Where are you supposed to go? What's that called? Reporting or
MEPS?
What would the verb be though? Reporting? Or
probably sort of processing or something like that. It was just a step to get to basic, essentially.
What city was that supposed to be in? Like, at what point do you find?
Well, MEPS was at Fort Dix, so that was in New Jersey. So about, I think it was about 2-3 hours away from Bluebell. And then it was hard.
Yeah, leaving home.
Because pretty much most of my family was in that area growing up. So it was basically leaving everything behind that I knew. But it was kind of my first adult decision. So, and I made a commitment and I wanted to stick to it. So I sucked it up.
So did you have regrets? Were you, I don't want to say regrets, but were you having regrets? Were you worried going into, were you thinking maybe this isn't the right move? When you say you sucked it up, I guess, were you scared? I
was scared, but that's a normal response to anything new. I don't regret joining the Army. I regret what happened to me when I was in, but I don't regret joining at all.
Was that all tied into your marriage at that point? Or was that a separate?
It's part of it.
Okay. So, I don't know, take me to wherever you want to go as far as just, post high school.
Okay. So I went to Fort Leonard Wood for basic, so Missouri. Deer flies, worse than greenheads.
Are they big?
Yeah, they're bigger than greenheads and they hurt more when they bite.
Okay.
Yeah. yeah, that those were not fun, but basic was hard. Like I tried to get myself somewhat into shape before I left. It was not enough. But I managed to make it through basic.
Wow, nice.
Mm-hmm. Went to Fort Gordon, which is in Georgia, for AIT, which is basically job training. Met my ex there. Managed to make it through the course for my my MOS, which was the specific job I was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Before I finished the course, though, is when the attempted rape happened. And then I also had developed plantar fasciitis in both my feet.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, so tried to get that fixed, tried to, figure out a way to still stay in. Got married while I was still in probably about 2 months before I turned 20.
Wow.
Yeah. Not the smartest move. In hindsight, not the smartest move. In more ways than one. Then was in until about December 2002. So I was only in about a year and a half because of the plantar fasciitis, but I let the attempted rape essentially get me to the point where I didn't fight the med board. I wanted to fight the med board. I didn't want to get out, but I let what that guy did to me essentially chase me out. Almost became an alcoholic because of that. My ex got deployed to Korea while I was dealing with all that, so while I was dealing with like the aftermath of the med board and all that and feeling pretty low, he gets back, slowly start to see the real him. I am very sensitive, and he's a narcissist, and they feed on sensitive people. And I was in that marriage for 16 years. This whole time I didn't go to college. We were living pretty paycheck to paycheck most of the marriage, until in 2015 I finally got the chance to go to college, which was really great for me. I finished my degree in 3 years. Buckled down and worked on it.
You were living in Colorado this whole time?
No, we moved all over the fucking place because he was in the military a lot longer than I was. We've lived in Georgia, Kentucky, Texas for the short bit he was out, in between contracts or whatever. That's his story, not mine. Then upstate New York when he got back in. Then Okinawa, Japan, where my son was born.
Wow. What year was that?
My son, 2013.
Okay. Kelly Brailsford was in Japan. I know Okinawa is off Kelly Rosario now. I know it's off. Okinawa's off on the island, right? My dad was in the Marines back in the 60s, and was in Okinawa. So that's like the most I ever really knew about it. but it's my dream to go to Japan. Hopefully one day we'll be allowed out of the country and I can go again.
Yeah, it's definitely an experience. We were there from 2010 to 2015.
Wow, 5 years?
Oh, not 2015, 2013. I'm sorry.
3 years still? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Was it... I know, like, sometimes when you're on bases, it's pretty immersed in American life, but...
we still got off base.
Yeah.
We still got off base. Now, when I was pregnant, I couldn't have sushi, and that was not fun. Because I freaking love sushi, and being not able to have it for 10 months sucks.
I'll bet.
Especially living in Japan.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about it, like living in Japan.
It's a lot different driving on the left side of the road. Fuck. It's a beautiful country, though. They are way polite. They will have respect for you if you attempt to speak the language. I will say that now. Even if you freaking butcher it, they will have respect for you for attempting.
Okay. I took Japanese for 3 years. And so, back in middle school and high school, I used to speak it, but it's been so long now. All I can remember is shishikuni ne, because I used to hear that all the time from Harpster Sensei. So,
yeah, I took Japanese as well. I remember. Yeah. It's like, I don't remember much at all. Like I was.
So did you then just horribly learn how to butcher it and just get through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just basically order food. That's basically what I could do. Luckily, through my online gaming, like before we went to Japan, I ended up starting Final Fantasy XI, which is precursor to the game I'm currently playing. And you kind of get, like, sometimes I would get grouped with Japanese players, so you'd have to use the auto translate feature that that game has, along with my very broken Japanese, and somehow I made myself understood. So,
wow. So 2013, then you had son.
Mm-hmm.
You have your son, and then you leave almost immediately after that. Then you came back.
It was about a few months after. My son was born in March. We came back to the States in July.
Was that, being gone for 3 years in another country, was that shocking, hard, or welcoming to be back in the States?
A bit of both, because some things had changed. Like I visited my parents before we left, and then we visited my mom again after we got back, and it's just how much had changed in the area, because she lives out in North Wales right now, I think. Mm-hmm. So she's still in the area. So just seeing how much the area changed in just 3 years was mind-boggling. But major city, things are going to change quickly.
Yeah, definitely. My mom is up in that area too, so I saw a lot of that. Coming back and forth from Philly and stuff. Every couple months there'd be another crazy construction project. Mm-hmm. Did you get to check out like Ambler or anything like that?
Not really.
No.
And that's part of
no desire to relive it, right?
It has to do with the ex and him being a narcissist.
Did you have contact with anyone from high school, like Emily? I know Emily and Amanda left. Was it Hicken?
Sporadically, I talked to Emily and Amanda, but for the most part, I haven't really talked to anybody out of high school. I don't think I've been to any of the reunions either, to be honest.
Me neither. A lot of people haven't been to the reunions, so the shame of it is now in this Corona, I think a lot of people have expressed interest in wanting to reunite, and our 20s coming up. But now in Corona, I don't really know if something like that happens.
I don't think so either. That's going to be interesting. Yeah, 2001, 2021. Yeah, 20 year coming up. Holy fuck.
Do you feel old?
I feel old, especially with a 7-year-old.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've actually lived so much more life than I have, and you're responsible for a human, and I'm just struggling to keep myself rolling here. So and I feel slightly weathered, so I can only imagine the daily stresses nowadays, especially.
Mm.
So you ended up in Colorado, and is that when you decided that was that 2015 when you decided you were going to go to school?
Mm-hmm.
What did you end up going for?
I originally started as a bio major, changed out to Bachelor of Science in Psychology for neurofocus, so neuroscience.
Okay, so you said that in talking about one, you talked about your grades going downhill, but two, you specifically mentioned physics. So I took that to mean that science wasn't your deal.
Okay, no, science is my deal. It's just physics, for some fuck reason, I cannot wrap my brain around.
Okay, so during this whole 14-year thing of life that you're going on, do you have this craving for science, to learn to get into science? Are you thinking that this whole time
I bounced around before finally settling on science. It just other things that happened, I had other ideas in mind, and then other things happened, and it's just eventually figuring out myself through an abusive marriage. And it wasn't physically abusive. It was psychologically and emotionally abusive. And I had to find myself through all that noise, and I eventually did. And I fucking love neuroscience. It's a niche field. I need to get at least a master's in it to work in it. But I fucking love it.
Wow. That's what sparked that? I mean, what after 14 years makes you say, I guess, what were the other things that you thought about?
It's a puzzle. It's a very complex and ever-changing puzzle. That's why I love it.
What did you want to do with that?
Work in a lab.
What is it?
Eventually.
So Barclay, I know nothing about science, okay? I also took physics, and I dropped it. I don't know. JP says I screamed at Mr. Hain. I remember dropping it, and Mr. Anderson got it pulled from my transcript altogether. And I took study hall for the next semester.
Mm.
So I know nothing about in a lab in biology.
Okay, so for neuroscience, it's basically the interaction between the brain, how it affects different changes in the brain chemically and physically will affect behavior and cognitive functioning and all that, and along with drugs and other changes that can other things that you can do to affect your brain functioning will affect behavior and cognitive functioning, or even just neurological or mental disorders, like PTSD. I did both my senior papers, one for neurobiology and one for directed research, on PTSD and the effects it has on both. For neurobio is for genetics and inflammatory compounds, stuff like hi cat. The inflammatory compounds, the things that I don't know how to explain this and dumb it down. I'm sorry. But Just things that affect your potential progeny later on. And then for directed research, it was what PTSD does to cognitive functioning and executive functioning, basically impulse control, decision making, stuff like that.
Did your experiences in life push you toward, like, as soon as you started explaining that, then I was like, oh wow, that's ironic, but maybe not ironic. Maybe it's exactly what you wanted to start figuring out more for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Well, that, and I'm still very passionate about the veteran community. So if I can do research that could potentially help vets that are coming back with PTSD, like find new ways to treat it in a way that could potentially help them live almost normal lives, then that would be great.
What was college life like for you?
As a parent?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So went back to school, and he just finished up last year. So, as a parent, what is that like?
Oh, it's something, because I was also working full-time graveyard shifts. Because narcissist X didn't get a job, even though I begged him. So I was working full-time. I was going to school full-time. It was a lot, and I still managed to graduate with a 3.75.
Damn.
In 3 years.
Wow. So
I had a mental breakdown near the end of it, but I did it.
Well, when you said that, it sounded like a lot of school. So, and getting it done in 3 years, was that on purpose? Were you motivated to change your life? Were you motivated to?
Well, that and my GI Bill had a ticking time bomb. So I was it was set to expire after fall of 2017. So spring 2018 was when I had to pay out of pocket. So I was trying to get as much done as I could before that expired. But there was just that one semester. My dad ended up paying for it for me, which I appreciate him a lot for. But I did it in 3 years.
That's awesome.
With distinction.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Did that help you at all?
It helped me find myself and helped me figure out that maybe I shouldn't be with a narcissist. Because during my mental breakdown, because I had repressed the attempted rape for 15 to 16 years at that point, it was along with all the stress I was dealing with, along with some other things that I don't particularly want to go into, but it was a pretty massive mental breakdown, and I let slip, granted hysterically and not in the best headspace, so it wasn't coming out completely senselessly, but I basically let slip the full impact of what that attempted rape did to me, and he flipped it around and made it about him. And it took me another few months to figure out that I was being abused, my son was being abused, and I needed to get out. My in-laws helped me get out.
Is that when you left Colorado?
Yes.
Why Georgia?
The in-laws said they would help me with taking care of Michael which I kind of need as a single parent.
Mm-hmm.
And my ex said he would never move back to Georgia. He also, when he thought I was moving back to Pennsylvania, he flipped his shit and threatened to call the cops on me.
Mm.
So,
Barclay, you've been through a lot.
There's people that have been through more, I'm sure.
It's a positive way to look at it.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah. No, I can't believe, not can't believe, but like, I'm just, I don't know, amazed at like what you've accomplished just in the second half of your life. I kind of look at growing up as one half, you know, high school up to one half, and then from then on as kind of another half. I don't know about the other parts because we haven't gotten there in age yet. But when I look at, you know, kind of the first half of your life, and then what you've pushed yourself to accomplish in the second half, like I said, I'm not joking when I say you've lived like so much more life than I have lived, in experiences, in, you know, sadness, in hopefully some good times as well. But
yeah. Oh no. It's like, it's kind of rough right now with COVID and losing, like having to quit my job because my son's having to go distance learning because his school district is refusing to do face-to-face learning, which I agree with. So I'm having to work from home and learning how to do that, and I'm not good at it yet. So I'm working on that. Just bit of a rough patch financially, but socially, I believe I told you, like, I play an online MMO. I play Final Fantasy 14. I lead a raid team.
So which
is interesting.
Yeah, when did you start getting into, so that's why I asked originally that question about high school and technology, but when did you start getting...
Oh, God. Online gaming, I started... Yeah. Online gaming, I started in 2006. I didn't start... well, I did some raiding in 11, which... but that was... I wasn't in charge of anything then, and it was a larger group of people. For 14... I started raiding in November, December. Made some really good friends through that. Met my boyfriend. He wasn't my boyfriend at the time, though. He was just a friend. And then, like, got really into raiding. Started a group with someone I thought was another friend. I wasn't in charge starting out. He ended up fucking up and leaving it in my lap. And I've been in charge ever since. So
can you explain this for people who don't know? Like, I generally know what you're talking about with online gaming, but for people who maybe don't know, like when you're saying you're starting like a raid, like what does this mean?
High-end, very difficult content that requires coordination and teamwork to get through.
So you're trying to accomplish a goal in an online game, in a world, like an online world, essentially, right?
Oh God. Let me see if I can find Light Rampant.
Am I saying this like a noob?
Kind of. So there's been the current expansion. There's been 2 tiers. We're on the second tier. My raid group is on the last fight of the current tier. There's 4 fights per tier.
Who are you fighting?
Boss they came up with. Technically, we're fighting one of our friends that got possessed by an ice spirit.
So so the opponent is opponent, the bad guy is, or is it a boss? Is that appropriate to call it the boss of the tier?
Yes.
Okay. So is this being controlled by someone else? Or it
is completely programmed.
Okay.
It is completely programmed.
Do you monetize your?
I can't yet. I don't have enough. I do not have enough average viewers, so I'm not a affiliate yet. I just stream for kind of a self-treatment for anxiety. That's what it started out, and now my friends and my boyfriend like to watch what I'm reading.
You know, I've been hearing a lot about. I follow I follow a couple podcasts that do Patreon and YouTube as I'm trying to learn about YouTube in general. But and I grew up, in wrestling as a wrestling fan, where online community was where wrestling fans like congregated, and so chat rooms and IRC chats and just online, message boards. That's where people like me would find people like me as a teenager. Mm-hmm. So, can you just speak to like I get it a little bit, even though I haven't been so involved with it lately, but can you just speak to like what you get out of an online community? Because that's like essentially what you've built a bit with everyone that you play with weekly, right? Like, can you talk a little bit about like what you get out of an online community?
Well, having anxiety, it's hard to leave the house. So it's a great way for me, at least, to, I know it's not for everybody, to get the social interaction, because we're social creatures. We need social interaction, or else we're going to go fucking crazy or get like crippling depression. So it's a great way for me to get that social interaction I need without having to deal with the crippling anxiety. Now I still have to deal with some anxiety because I lead my team. And that's difficult because I don't like being the bad guy. I don't like coming down on them, but I'm very blunt and I'm very to the point. And the gaming groups are kind of immune to COVID because we can hang out every day but not be face to face.
Very necessary. Who knew you were preparing for this for years?
Yes, we were preparing for years. Our time has come.
It really is. Seriously, the fact that you mentioned your son's got to do online schooling now. The fact that you are kind of in an online community, and that does it help you at all with an understanding of what you're looking for, or what you want to help him do? Or Yep, it does. And then because like some of the people in my own Discord server are parents as well, so it's like we commiserate a little bit, having to navigate this world with our kids and try to keep our kids safe. And then like they're friends to me, so it's we help each other out when one of us is feeling down. It's like we will sit there and like just, I think we did go kind of crazy one day when Sachi was just like one of the people in my Discord was like really down. We kind of threatened to go a little murder hobo-y. Did it calm down though?
Yeah, it calmed down. It was mostly in jest. It was in jest for the most part, but it was just like, do we need to cut a bitch?
Like I said, I spent a few years with online communities and chat rooms, and I worked for CNN in high school. So I used to spend about at least 5 hours a week online moderating chat rooms and just talking to the same people every night. And after the chat room, then we go into a private chat room where we keep talking until, 1 a.m, 2 a.m. And this is me at 16, 17, 18 years old. So I can certainly appreciate what you have.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice having a group of friends that I get along with. And then I met my boyfriend through rating, and it started out with me sending him animal pictures for about a month, not realizing I was hitting on him.
Do you usually send animal pictures to people?
No, apparently not.
That was a giveaway.
Apparently. But no, he makes me really happy, and it's nice finding that again after some of the stuff I've been through. And we can play video games together. That's our date right now. That's our dating, because he lives up in New York. So bit far for seeing each other every day, but we still find a way to spend time with each other.
Yeah. Do you find that you are able to deal with your mental aspect differently than high school? Are there factors for that? Is it what you've learned? Is it advancement in medicine? Is it maturity?
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything. Medication, knowing what I know now, both from education and life. Having friends that are great people. And then now my boyfriend.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
This would normally be the moment that if I was able to do these face to face, I would open up the yearbook and I would ask you to sign my yearbook. But I can't do that.
Did I sign it?
No.
I didn't.
Did you sign mine?
I don't know. Did I?
No.
I might have.
I don't think so.
Damn.
There's a few in here though that I can't. I don't know what the signatures are, but no, I don't believe that you're in here. But don't feel bad. While there are a lot of people in here, one's Mr. Brody, one is Mr. Hood, one is Mr. Malone. So But I was looking at it earlier, and I went. First of all, your quote is "Be your own person." But I went, damn, she put a lot of names in here. You got 12 names in here. Do you know this?
No.
So you drop. Can I say some of these names? Do you mind?
Yeah.
Okay. You got Hannah.
Yes.
Amanda.
Uh-huh.
Amanda C.
Fuck, I don't even remember that person.
You've got a Lauren.
Oh, yeah, I remember her. I haven't talked to her in ages.
Rob.
Oh, yeah, Rob. Might have been my boyfriend or at the time, or it might have been Rob Caliente. Or I can't remember how to pronounce his name, and I feel bad. Oh, shit. Fuck. I guess I had more friends than I thought. I felt alone even surrounded by those people, though.
I'm not even halfway through. Joanna.
Oh, Jesus. I don't even remember her either. Fuck.
Sarah.
That doesn't ring a bell either.
Jenny with a double N-E. Are these high school people? Or are these from outside?
Think so. I think so. It's just I don't remember them.
Leslie? That's probably Boy Leslie.
Maybe, yeah.
Right? Boy Leslie that was in band. I remember him.
Probably.
I remember him.
I don't. Holy shit, I am bad at names. Like, bad at remembering people, apparently. Holy fuck.
Steph? I'm going to guess Steph Knoll.
No. We were not friends by the time. That's shit happened that I didn't do, but they thought I did.
But you were friends.
We were until probably about sophomore year.
Oh yeah, that would have been before this.
Mm-hmm.
We're still going here. There's a Melissa in here.
Vaguely remember her, don't remember her last name.
Drew?
He was in band.
Steve M?
I don't even remember who that is. Shit.
Drew W? So 2 Drews.
Yeah. Huh. Nope.
Stasia? Stacia?
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 Yeah, I think that's how it was pronounced. I can't even put a face to most of these names.
And then band and chorus peeps, thank you all for the memories. Kristen and Grammy, thank you for being there for me. Love, Barclay.
Uh-huh.
You want to see a picture?
Oh, I remember what I looked like. It was...
It's you.
Yeah.
You made it. You're here.
Yeah. I survived.
With your 20 friends. That happens, it happens a lot where people say they don't remember a lot of different things. So it's not uncommon, but yeah, it's a lot of names to put in your book.
They must have not been close friends if I can't remember them.
Well, we'll have to see as I continue on, and I interview other people if I come across any of these other names now.
Oh God.
This Drew W character.
Oh God damn. That's kind of embarrassing that I don't remember those people. Shit.
But you know what? When I started this, Barclay, I didn't think anyone even signed my yearbook. And then the first interview, I look in here and I go, oh, there are a lot of signatures in here. I look back at these and I just go, I can't believe that person signed my yearbook. But I have zero memory of it. And often with the podcast, now people have memories. Like Alicia Conti was like, oh, I remember, this and that. And I was like, we never talked. And then she has this whole half a page in my yearbook and I have zero recollection of it at all. So it happens to all of us. And I'm doing a damn podcast about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, at least for me, it was just like, I just wanted to fucking forget high school because it was just not a happy time for me.
Well, do you have any happy memories was there anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't? We've been talking a good amount of time, but was there anything, happy or otherwise that we skipped over that you wanted to talk about?
Probably this tuba solo I had in high school. That was pretty amazing.
What was that?
It was like we were playing this arrangement of Greensleeves, and the beginning of it, the tuba, and I think something else had a solo at the beginning. So it was just like it wasn't like be loud and get that bass line out. No, it was put emotion into it and be gentle, and I could do that.
And you did it well? It went well?
Well, Mr. Hood always used to yell at me to, play louder, put the lungs into it, so to speak. And I was always very quiet. I learned how to be loud on the tuba, but it was just like starting out, I was very quiet on it. And then finally I get the solo where I don't have to be loud, and it was freaking amazing.
Emotion.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Well, music is part emotion, and when you put emotion into it, it turns out better.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Barclay, thank you. This was
Not a problem.
This was like awesome. You were extremely, open and honest, and I thank you for that. And if I can do anything to like help promote your Twitch channel, I mean that all seriously. Send me like if you give me like instruction or whatever for anyone gaming, I can put it in the description, and anyone that wants to check it out can do that. And if that helps you,
that might.
Yeah.
Like I sent you my Twitch link.
So if I just put that in there, that'll be what anyone that's interested in checking out. And is it what are you playing in there specifically?
Mostly Final Fantasy 14. My boyfriend got me into Elder Scrolls Online though, so there's been a little bit of that, a little bit of Path of Exile too. So mostly RPG games.
Cool. So I'll put a link in there in the description for people to check out if they're into checking out gaming videos. I know on Twitch it's super popular, and I'm definitely in the future I'm gonna check out the Discord, and I'm gonna start asking some questions, because I am really, really interested in some of these alternatives that are out there besides the main like two that everyone else uses.
Yeah, Discord's great. It's like you can do some video chatting, you can do streaming, you can do voice chat. That's primarily how me and my friends talk, is through voice chat. And then me and my boyfriend, we don't use phones to talk. We just
simple.
Yeah. It works though.
Thanks for showing me the new way.
Not a problem.
All right. Well, I will I'll hopefully keep in touch with you, and I'll keep checking in on your Twitch and everything like that, and I'll be on your Discord too. All
right. You have a great night.
Awesome. Thanks, Barclay. Take care of yourself.
Not a problem. You too.
Bye.
Bye.